Hey guys, the Morning Hooker here. It's been a while, so I thought I'd post a tutorial. These days, the K-drama Extraordinary Tournure got me really hooked, and Woo Young-woo's obsession with veils is super infectious. So in this video, I will show you how to make this veil tail keyring. Let's go! For this project, you will need a lightweight yarn, a 3.5 mm crochet hook, a stitch marker, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, and a D-ring. Gather everything you need and we can start. We will begin this project with the magic circle. So wrap your yarn twice around your index and middle fingers, then pick up the lower line, twist it to the right, and pick up this working yarn. Pull it nice and tight, and we can start working 6 single crochets in the circle. So that is 1 and 2 and then 3 and then 4, 5 and 6. With 6 single crochets in the circle, take the tail end and pull it nice and tight to close the circle. Now you're going to work 3 more rounds of single crochets, not increasing, just working 1 single crochet into each stitch for 3 more rounds. We're going to work continuously, so we're going to work it right here. And so that we won't get lost, just use your stitch marker to keep track of where you started. Now we can continue working just a single crochet all around for 3 rounds. Now that you've got this tip of the fluke, we are going to give it a bit of a shape. So for the next round, you will be taking out the stitch marker and we will increase in each stitch. That's 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Since we had 6 stitches earlier, we are just going to increase it by 2. So at the end of this round, we will have 12 single crochets or stitches. Don't forget to place your stitch marker so that you don't get lost. Just continue working 2 single crochets into each stitch of this round. Here, as you can see, we now have 12 stitches after the increase. Now we're going to take off the stitch marker and work just 1 single crochet into each stitch. So it's a regular single crochet round. Just 1 single crochet into each stitch. Okay, so now we're done with the regular single crochet round. We are going to give this fluke its curve or the trailing edge. So it's this curve right here. We will be starting with 3 single crochets. So work your first single crochet right here, place your stitch marker, and work 2 more single crochets to get this started. Now, you will have 6 succeeding stitches right here. In those 6 stitches, you will be working an increase. So that's 2 single crochets into each stitch for the next 6 stitches. Now that you're done, you will end up with 3 remaining stitches. Just work 1 single crochet into each of those. Now we are going to maintain this shape. We are just going to work 5 regular rounds of single crochets, not increasing anything, just maintaining this number. It's 18 stitches. So just keep going for 5 rounds. You will start right here and just work 1 single crochet into each stitch for the next 5 rounds. As you can see here, we have 5 regular single crochet rounds completed. It is time for us to decrease the number of stitches to complete this curve of the trailing edge. So we're going to start with intervals of 4. There goes the first single crochet, and then we are going to work 3 more single crochets because we will be going by intervals of 4. That's the second one, and then third one, and then fourth one. Now, to make a decrease, we will be combining 2 stitches together. So pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, and pull up another loop, and just pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So 2 stitches have become 1. For decrease rounds, you will always end up with 2 stitches, which you will condense into 1 stitch, like so. For the next round, we will just be working a regular single crochet round. So that's 1 single crochet into each stitch for this round. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we will go by intervals of 3. So we will decrease with intervals of 3. This would be the first stitch. Don't forget your stitch marker as always. And then continue working. The next stitch, that's your second one, and then your third one. And then in the next 2 stitches, you will just combine them, stitch them together, and just repeat the exact same process for the rest of this round. Now for the next round after the decrease, we are going to work a regular single crochet round once again. I know the process is very repetitive, but yeah, every after decreasing, you have to work a regular single crochet round. For our last decrease round, we will go by intervals of 2. So we're going to start with this 1 single crochet. Again, place your stitch marker, and then work another single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet 2 stitches together. this would be your final decrease round. So just repeat the entire process for the rest of this round. For the last round of the fluke, we will be working a regular single crochet round. That's one single crochet into each stitch for the rest of this round. Moving on to the tail, we have here one fluke. So before cutting the tail end, just make sure you have a good length right there, because we will be using this to sew 2 flukes together. So take your darning needle, thread the yarn through, and take your other fluke. So the 2 trailing edges have to be facing each other right here. And we will sew these 2 pieces in between to create the notch. So just hold them edge to edge. Like so. And with your needle, we will be whip stitching 3 stitches together. Basically, what we're doing here is we are binding 2 of the flukes together to create the notch, or where the flukes meet. Now that you've got this partially joined, just lock this in place, like that. Make sure your lock is nice and tight, just keep tugging it, and you can hide this tail end much later. As you can see, the 2 flukes are partially joined by whip stitches. So all around here, as you can see, we have 6 stitches each fluke left. So just keep counting. You've got 6 right here, and then on the other side you also should have 6 stitches. Okay, so that's where we will be stitching for the rest of the tail. Now take your hook, and we will be joining the yarn You can join it anywhere, but I would usually choose a stitch close to the notch. So this is where I will start. And just work a single crochet right there. Since we will still be working in continuous rounds, I will place my stitch marker right here so that I don't get lost once I start working continuously. Now, looking for the free stitches might be tricky, and right here at the notch, you will notice that there might be a gap once you start working your single crochets. So once I get to this part, I would usually single crochet 2 together just to close the gap. And that wouldn't change the stitch count. So go to the next stitch and just carry on as you would as though this project you're currently working on are not two separate pieces earlier. Now that we're done with a regular single crochet round, the edge looks nice and neat without the stitches earlier. So we should have 12 stitches in total. And for the next 3 rounds, we will just be working 3 rounds of single crochets, not increasing, not decreasing, just keep going for 3 rounds of single crochets. Keep working continuously for 3 rounds with 1 single crochet into each stitch. As you can see here, the tail is taking shape really nicely. So here are the 3 more regular rounds of single crochets that we worked earlier. And now for the next round, we will be adding or increasing stitches. We will be increasing by intervals of 3. So that was your first, this is the second, and this would be the third. Then in the next stitch, just work 2 single crochets right there. And repeat the exact same count for the rest of the round. You will end this round with an increase, just like so. And then take the stitch marker. We will be working our final round for now. So this final round would just be a regular round of single crochets. Just 1 single crochet again into each stitch for the rest of this round. You should have 15 in total. Now we're getting to the complicated part of this project. Before you cut your yarn, you would want to kind of measure it for good length, like about 5 or 6 times the length of your forearm, because we will still be using some yarn for the next couple of steps. So just fasten this off for now. You can just slip stitch into the next stitch and lock it in. I know working with long tail ends can be quite annoying, but I thought this would be the easiest way to go about this part of the project, so please bear with me. Anyway, take the tail end as well as your darning needle and thread it right through the eye, because as you can see here, there's an opening, and we will shut it with a running stitch all the way across and back. So just pass your needle through like so beneath each stitch. So as you can see here, we're passing the needle through each stitch. Don't go over the stitches, okay? Just keep going beneath them. And when you get to the corner, just go right back, stitch beneath, and go right back to where you started. So at this corner, you will just reinsert your needle through the stitches to form a loop. We need to form a loop because we're going to be crocheting again. So there goes your loop. Take your hook and then chain one just to secure it in place and work a row of single crochets across the stitches. You wouldn't be going around anymore, so you will just be working across. Once you get to the end of the corner, make your turning chain and flip your work over and work another row of single crochets. You can actually make this as long as you want. This would be the flap where we will be attaching the D-ring. For this tutorial though, I will just be going by 7 rows. Now that I have my 7 rows here, it looks nice front and back. I'll just fasten off this one here and take my D-ring, insert it through, and then take your darning needle once again, thread the yarn through and fold this flap. As you can see, there's the other half of the opening that we stitched together earlier. So now we're just going to stitch the flap and that remaining side together. I believe this is the whip stitch I'm using to connect these two parts together, but you can use any stitch you're comfortable working with. As long as you get this closed, then you're good to go. Once you reach the corner, you can just fasten your yarn off. Tug it nice and tight, and you're done. You can weave in the end much later. You can admire your work for now. This is the back and this is the front. So it really looks nice. I have here my finished project, which I made about over a week ago. I attached a keyring and a carabiner. Did I say it right? I just don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah. Ta-da! That's it. Your whale tail keyring. For a kick of crochet inspo, you can check me out on Instagram. I also have other extraordinary Atorniu projects posted with patterns you can access through the link in my bio. I just love the show so much, I can't believe it's ending in about a week. Until then, happy hook and whale nation, and as always, thanks for watching!